Angie.
I'm Michelle.
We're Blue
Heavens.
Today we came to talk about our ego. So we channel ancient divine energies, right?
Right, known as Lazarus.
Known as Lazarus.
And we call upon them for information, and they're great teachers for subjects. So on this one today, we'll be talking to Loki, but Lokaous on certain other things too.
Yeah.
But don't be surprised if Marcus makes an appearance.
Right.
So, because his input would be interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
So we never know which one is going to, they will announce it, but
Right.
Angie's sweet enough to put above which one is, so we
Yes.
always know.
Yeah, help us out.
Help us out, but they do channel to teach.
Yeah.
But they do this, and we both channel.
We do.
We both channel, so you'll notice the synchronicities of the
And
information.
we channel differently. I've been wanting
Yes.
to add this. I think Spirit wanted to show people this, that as I channel, I'll come up with an idea or they'll give me an idea. And then it's like we work as a team, human and spirit. How
Yes.
do we mold this information and give it to a human? It's like we test out things, spirit and human, before we bring it to you. And then she comes, so Michelle comes, and then this wisdom is just given to us through her. And it's always amazing because it's stuff that they've withheld for me because they want to share it with all of us at the same time.
So with what they tell, so you watch the videos, she will look as surprised as the viewer, and I don't know what just happened, so I have to rewatch it, and I learn.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to watch what comes out of my mouth, because honestly, the wisdom. Because if you meet me in person, you go, "There's no way," because I'm not that smart. I know I'm not, and that's not real. But that really, I'm not. But the wisdom that comes from their mouth and the way the information is amazing.
It is.
And it's beautiful how they, but we do channel differently.
Yeah.
That's how you perceive it
Yeah.
and how I perceive it, but it's all brand new information. So when they give that, like I said, she's very surprised, but that's a very honest reaction.
Yes.
And then sometimes she'll even tell me after, she said, but most of the time she'll say, you need to watch the video.
Right.
And I watch it.
Watch that crazy stuff.
Yeah, watch it. Well, first I gotta go past Lokaous because he's gotta watch it. And then the second time I get to see it.
Yeah, they take turns.
They take turns, yeah. So it's very, yes, but
So we're going to dive in to the ego.
yes.
We hope you enjoy this video. So I looked up the definition of ego, and it said it's a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. And ego comes from the word that means I. So it is our I. It is the me that's here. I said in a recent video, it's like the part of us that tells our spirit this body is mine.
Right.
And I think that's a good, since we are in a world of duality, we are a spirit being, but we are experiencing flesh. And the flesh is our shadow, right? And our ego is our shadow. These are parts of our shadow.
Yes. And,
Am I correct in
and
that?
this is Loki, and yes, you are right.
Okay.
The ego is a very broad term, and it can go so many different ways. And I also want to add, having an ego is not a bad thing to have. It will be protectful, which is when you take your ego and use it for the wrong reasons, and then it turns into something totally different.
Like when we develop our super ego.
The super ego, which, you know, it is, you're better than everybody else. The ones that are most I see was that you're so self-important that you don't have time for anybody else. But another part of ego would be, I like to use this example. Well, let's say that you girls, when you first went to your school, the Enchanted Moments, and you were getting all this mediumship information, and you did a whole year, and you said, you know what? I gained all this information. I'm done, because your ego said you've learned everything you've ever needed to know. What would the world have missed out on all of this?
Yeah.
You'd have missed out on us channeling. You'd have missed out on so much. So your ego, sometimes is so prideful, it just tells you you're done. But you're not done. So we have to learn to discernment once again with your ego. The best way to calm our ego is meditating.
Yeah.
And that is the best way. But we'll get into that further down.
I have a thing that I thought is helpful, that our ego helps us organize our thoughts and make sense of our thoughts and the world around us. So our ego is also here to help us make sense of what's going on.
It does.
So it could easily become faulty.
It can, and well, my ego, people might, and the reason I'm, you know, because Lokaous said, you got the biggest ego I know, I take that as a compliment. But my ego has helped me survive through this through all my aspects that I have, it has helped me survive. My ego has helped me out. It has got me in trouble, but it is as well as helped me out. And that it is, so it's like my ego, for example, and so I would like to do that.
Sure.
Let's talk about, as once again, before I go into my ego, because I am a being, I would like to talk about your ego.
Okay.
It's the best people. I think the best example is always you girls. And then I will let Michelle come through and talk about hers. But let's talk about your ego and once again, the spirit discernment that I will see and you can teach.
Okay. Okay, so if I'm going to talk about my ego,
Yes.
I will say that I know spiritual people, their ego can get out of control real easily, that they can misplace God's power for their personal power. So I feel God gave me a gift that I had such low self-esteem as a child, and as most of my adult life I've had really low self-esteem, and I think that that has been a gift for me to not have a full-blown ego when this stuff has come through. You know, Michelle and I are very humble with this stuff, and I think it's our self-worth was so low. You know, we could still build this super ego, but we have spirit in check. I would say that my ego has been many things. You know, I had a point that I was strong. You know, people will hurt me, so I was, well, I'm going to be a badass, and I'm going to kick her ass, and I'm going to fight you, and went through that period, and it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. So I feel like
You would say your ego has evolved.
yeah, there we go. Yes, my ego has evolved.
Which was my example. Which was my example to go from the human.
Perfect.
Because it has evolved. You're not the same person.
No.
To show your ego will evolve according to how you're learning.
I like that. That's awesome.
Because mine now, and so mine as well has evolved. Mine as well, from the beginnings, I do relate. Because that's why I wanted you to go first, so I could show the comparison. Because I know what you want to say.
I know.
So, yeah. But you get tired of hearing that. But, now mine as well. My ego was I knew everything. Got me into fights. You know, I knew the type of power I had. So when you have power, it goes to your head, which is your ego. So my ego got the best of me, but also got me in so much trouble, and that is where my scars came from. Because I knew better, but I didn't listen. My ego would prevent me from learning anymore because I knew more than they did. But yet the world of knowledge I would have gained had I just listened. My ego said I was done learning, but I was not done learning. It took me so long to figure these things out. And through my different aspects of learning, you know, each aspect, by the way, when I say aspect, you have changed. You're not the same one you were when you were little. So you're a different person right now. So I would say a whole other aspect of you. This is a new essence. As me as I evolved. So when I say aspects of myself, it's my evolvement of who I am today, who I am now.
Right.
And I have just evolved as well. I just happen to remember everything.
Right.
Humans have a veil across.
We're veiled.
Right, to learn.
Right.
But your ego can get you in trouble, as it did at the beginning, but now I have learned my ego is also my safe. It keeps me safe. My ego gives me information as I need it. If I need, like, getting out of the cave, I wanted to stay in the cave. My ego wanted to stay in that cave. A good example of this is I know more than a human. I don't want to come out to my cave. Why would I come out to my cave? I know more than anybody. But the more that I have hung around you, your girls, Scott, your family, I have learned that was my ego. That this knowledge is kept in a cave for 21,000 years, should be given to other people, not just selfishly kept away. My ego just wanted to be more than everybody else, even to this day. And now I want to hand that off. Because it's no longer my ego. I'd rather help others, and that is a fight for me. That is a fight because of how humans have treated me, and they'll always treat me this way, and I understand that. But I have to learn that my ego needs to hush on that. I need to sit back, and the female perspective, which has been you, which has been Michelle, has taught me, because that's a duality. Right. Feminine and male, you need to have both. The male in me wants to fight, or the female, which is her, tells me, well, it's not fair. We need to help. So your ego is a component, it is a balance,
Right.
and we have to understand that balance.
Right.
So that is why I want to use that example of your ego. It will evolve
Right.
through time, but it depends on where it goes. It can go either way.
Yeah. So I wrote down some traits of our ego. It can be self-serving. It seeks outside recognition.
Right.
It sees life as a competition. It seeks self-preservation. It feels lack. It's mortal. It's lustful. It rejects God. It seeks to be filled. It seeks wisdom. Ego is me. But if we look at our higher self, which is us as spiritual outside of form, that is what we want to connect to, this Holy Spirit where we serve others. We seek inner authenticity. We see life as a gift. We seek to preserve others. We look inward. We feel abundant. We are eternal. We are drawn to love. We are wise, enjoy the journey, a cause of healing, embraces God, eternal wholeness, soul is we.
And all of that I don't even understand because I don't go through that.
Right.
I understand the first part of what you said. That part I don't understand any of what you just
Of
said.
the whole of the higher self.
No.
Okay.
Think about who I am.
Right. You wouldn't have that connection to
No.
anything like that yet.
No, I don't know any of that, what you just said.
Yeah.
None of that is born. It made me kind of do this.
Right.
Because
I
I don't
felt it
understand.
because
It
it
felt
felt
to me-
uncomfortable.
It feels uncomfortable because that doesn't mean, that's not me
Right.
now. So I'm the first, so what you said on the first part of
Right.
that, what's in my cave, what did I just describe?
Right.
That's to prove that you are channeling
Yeah.
because you wrote exactly what I feel.
Right.
The second part is what I want to achieve.
Right.
So you summed up what I'm, and this is the beautiful part of these videos. See, the channeling, the connection,
Yes.
everything. But we do it in ways that we just kind of surprise
Right.
you.
And again, now we want a healthy ego, which would be seen as confidence, because confidence reflects trusting the universe and all it supplies us.
Nah. I don't.
Okay.
I got fake confidence. I have to put the grin and I do it.
Okay.
Even, and that's all my aspects. If you notice, every single aspect
Right.
fakes a confidence that is not there, which is my, yes, it makes
Right.
sense now. I
It does.
fake a confidence that I do not have. To hide, yes,
It's like fake it till you make it or believe it till you achieve it.
exactly. And that is
Yeah.
what I do. That's what I do now, but I'm not ashamed. Because there's many humans that can relate to this.
Right, right. And that's what I love about this. It's like I used to relate to darker things, and I don't now. We're
Right.
going to do a video later that kind of shows that. Again, it's an evolution. That's why they used us. That's why they're doing sisters. That's why she hasn't come into the light yet. It was to show everybody these things.
And as we walk out of the cave, I would like to, on that, because it does deal with ego,
Yeah.
we have to, one, accept it.
Yeah.
Both of us have
Right.
to accept that
Right.
light. And two, just because I accept that light doesn't mean that I don't have an inner darkness that will always be there. I will always have that.
Right.
It is it going to be, we want to go to the light or do I want to go to the dark? And that's always going to be a fight for us because I'm so comfortable in the dark.
Right.
The light is going to be like this to me and it's going to feel just like that. But how many humans feel the same way
Right.
as that? I mean, just because a light is offered to you and you want to take the light and you want to do that, it's so easy to go back into what you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And that in your ego, depending on your evolution of your ego, where it's at. I can honestly tell you right now, my ego is going to take me back. I already know what will happen.
Yeah.
It just, I need to get it, so it's going to have to be through teachings as well.
Right.
Not so. Not only are the humans learning, so as I walk out of that cave, does not mean that I'm going to be suddenly happy.
Right.
It's not. So so this is also as well for the humans that are watching. Is you can come out of your cave, but you got to watch that ego.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I could be like walking out into the light, and I could just be like, oh, I know it all. Okay, I'm done. Bye. I'm gonna go back, and that's serving nobody.
Right.
So, knowledge that you have, don't let your ego stop you from teaching. My ego has stopped me from teaching. I want to self-preserve my information.
Right.
I don't want to teach this at all.
Oh.
I didn't come out on video for the real reason why I didn't come out on the video. I don't want humans to know anything, one, about me, and two, this knowledge that I have, I feel they don't deserve what I have, but that is my ego. That has not, and that's not serving me very well.
Right.
But when I'm helping, I feel it's, you know, it's getting through to somebody that
Right.
understands. We have a lot of people that can relate,
Yeah.
which is why I come out, because I want to help.
Right.
You had this, you were me a long time ago.
Yes.
So this relates to that part of you.
Yes.
I can relate to Michelle because she's there with me. She
Right.
knows and gets it. You're not there no more.
Right. I'm not.
So the relation on that, but there is people out there that do relate to that. So I want to bring out these different truths about that.
Okay.
So
I have another thing.
yeah.
So in Hinduism, they say humans have 6 enemies of the mind, and they are traits of our ego: lust, anger, greed, arrogance, delusion, and jealousy, and that they prevent man from attaining moksha. So moksha is we are released from the cycle of rebirth. We don't have to be spit back out to pay back karmic debts. We are paid in full, right, if we attain moksha.
Yes, and that's very rare because humans you got choices, and it's so easy and be comfortable to choose the wrong things.
Right.
Whatever the wrong means to you.
Right.
You know, and it's like overeating or anything that is your serpent or your demon, that is it. But
Right.
everybody can achieve these things. It's
Yeah.
very simple. My son has attained them.
Yeah. You have to want.
You have to want to do it.
Have to want to do
My
it.
son has achieved that.
Yeah.
And Marcus has achieved that.
Right.
If I chose, I could achieve that
Right.
as well.
Right.
If I choose it now,
Right.
I have to choose.
Right. And it's your choice.
It is always a deity's choice and a human's choice whether to do this.